Video games are the ultimate medium for superhero stories because you get to be the superhero. That in mind, there are a large number of pretty great looking superhero games coming. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, 10 upcoming superhero games you need to pay attention to. We're going to start off at number 10 with, I think, probably the most obvious choice, Marvel's Wolverine, being developed by the great Insomniac Games. As you know, they created perhaps the best Spider-Man game that's been created. I'd say that there are definitely ways that you could criticize it. It retains some open world elements that are annoying, but they're so minor, me mentioning it here almost seems weird, but I have a reason for it. Insomniac Games is fantastic. They are very good developers, but when you're web slinging, it kind of makes sense that you would have large waypoints that you need to get to. I'm wondering if they abandoned that mechanic for Marvel's Wolverine, because A, I would like that, but B, Wolverine's movement would be a much more traditional style mechanic. So what are we going to see? Is it going to be open world? Is it going to be set in the same universe that their Spider-Man is set in? I don't know. It's an interesting prospect. And although all we've really seen is a trailer, the look kind of looks like what Wolverine would look like in that world. So I'm certainly interested to see more. They'll probably start telling us more over the next year or so. That's coming out in 2023 exclusive to the PlayStation 5. Moving on to number 9, it's Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which is, they really want you to know exactly what this game is about. You're playing as the bad guys. Now, for all intents and purposes, that sounds maybe not super original. However, it's being developed by the creators of Batman Arkham, Rocksteady Studios, and they're referring to it as an action-adventure shooter which will bend genres. That is not something I would expect them to say about the game. Because to be frank, a Suicide Squad game made by the Batman Arkham developers seems like something that'd be very easy to make. They've already got all of the stuff there ready to just have more Batman-style heroes or villains in. But it seems like they're going to be trying something new. I hope they do exactly that without losing what makes Arkham so great. We'll see, of course, when Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League lands on pretty much every console and PC in 2023. And number 8 is an interesting entry. It's called Marvel's Midnight Suns. It is something very different from what I would expect out of Marvel at this moment. It's a tactical role-playing game. It comes to us by way of Firaxis Games, who developed XCOM, so you know that the gameplay is going to be quite tight. This is the tactical RPG developer, and they've taken a different approach to the aesthetic of the characters. The most recognizable is Wolverine, who has a similar look to how he has in the comics. However, everyone also has a similar look, including Iron Man, and get this, Blade. Blade is in this game, so that means vampires are in this game. It's based on Rise of the Midnight Suns from the 1990s old comic series. It's about the Avengers teaming up with supernatural characters to stop Lilith, the mother of all demons. So it's very, very 90s, and also very different from basically anything we've seen out of Marvel in quite a while. So I don't know, it's piqued my interest. That's going to be landing on all the consoles and PC apparently late in 2022, but I wouldn't count on it. A lot of these games have been delayed, not only due to COVID, but it seems like games are just starting to have longer development cycles. Anyway, keep your eyes on Marvel's Midnight Suns. And number 7, another Arkham-related game, Gotham Knights, which is developed by WB Games Montreal. So yeah, to avoid confusion, it's not a sequel to the Arkham games. However, it's probably going to be a lot like the Arkham games in terms of gameplay, knowing who's developing it. You know what? I'm just gonna call this Batman's Not Dead. I just want to be able to come back to early 2022 when I said that. Batman's not dead. That's what you're gonna learn. And then he'll be a DLC and you'll be able to play him as a secret character. The villains in this game are the Court of Owls, Mr. Freeze, and the Penguin. It's going to be a big old open world. It's probably going to be a fun game. And Batman's probably going to be in it. That's coming to PC and all of the consoles late in the year. And number 6 is The Wolf Among Us 2, coming to us from Telltale Games. In a lot of ways, this is Telltale Games saying Telltale Games is very back. The original Wolf Among Us came in 2014, and you know what has happened to Telltale. It went under, things went topsy-turvy, and then somebody invested a bunch of money to bring it back. Now, what's interesting is Ad Hoc Studio, a company that was formed by former Telltale Games staff, is collaborating with the current Telltale, which also has some former Telltale staff. If you're unfamiliar, because Telltale has done a really wide range of work, The Wolf Among Us is about a detective who is also a werewolf. It's based on the Fable series of comics, kind of as a prequel. A lot of like fairy tale creatures and stuff are characters in the game as regular humans, and they obviously have ties to their former characters, but you as the sheriff slash investigator were formerly the big bad wolf. You solve mysteries. This is the second season of that, which was going to happen back in 2018 before Telltale went under. It's now going to be happening in 2023. We're going to see it probably on every platform imaginable, and Telltale fans should probably be excited. It looks good. At number 5 is Forspoken, a game that's not directly a superhero game, but it's kind of a fantasy RPG type game with some incredible traversal mechanics, as well as a lot of magical powers, so you're effectively a superhero in this game. It's one of those games that, if you were to simply describe it, doesn't sound like a big deal, but watching it, you immediately can see like, oh, this is something that's going to be fun. To say, oh, it's an action RPG with great traversal mechanics, that doesn't sound anywhere nearly as cool as this looks. This is one of those games we're excited for because it seems like it takes something that sounds kind of like a traditional RPG and injects a completely different mechanic into it. I mean, they're actually calling it magical parkour, so I think they know that they have something on their hands. I think there's very few games that you can just see mechanically are fun without knowing anything about it, and this seems like one of those rare games. I'm really excited for this one. And number 4 is God of War Ragnarok. Now, again, mild stretch in terms of superhero stuff, but how many superheroes have you seen basically completely take out every god on Mount Olympus? Probably not a whole lot of them. While Kratos is a little bit slower in his age, he's certainly not a lot slower. God of War Ragnarok takes place 3 years after the first game, after a 3-year-long winter, where it's prophesized that Ragnarok is going to happen after. There's a lot going on, including a revenge plot with Freya and Thor, and obviously we're going to see a game that fully takes advantage of the PlayStation 5 as opposed to was upgraded to it. I mean, after the first Norse saga entry in the God of War series, of course we want more. Given that they decided this was going to be the last in the Norse series, I'm quite excited to see whatever the big battle at the end is. They don't have a date set, but that's coming to PlayStation 4 and 5 this year. And number 3 is Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Now, obviously, we talked about Insomniac doing a great job with the first Spider-Man and then Spider-Man Miles Morales. They're also in charge of the sequel on top of the Wolverine game they're making, and that's exactly who should be doing it. They do Spider-Man right. Hopefully, they are able to expand on the formula a little bit, maybe be the Forbidden West to Spider-Man 1's Horizon Zero Dawn. But even if they don't, even if they just tell us more Spider-Man story with, again, probably one of the best versions of Spider-Man that's existed in terms of video games, that's fine. That's going to be a PS5 exclusive, and that is coming next year. And number 2 is Wonder Woman, a game that we don't know a whole lot about. Probably going to be coming at very earliest in 2023, so there's a long time between now and when it comes out that we're going to learn much more about it. Probably going to be PC and consoles. Have to imagine the higher powered consoles. Monolith is developing it, and they've described it as a totally original story, meaning not a revamp of the films or another comic, and is going to play out as a single-player open-world action game. So the only really confirmed detail is that since it's Monolith, we are going to be seeing the Nemesis system, which is a very interesting thing. Honestly, the Nemesis system adds a lot of depth to a game, so I think that's a very good thing for them to include. Like, if Monolith gets picked up to do any type of game, that's how do we get the Nemesis system in should be a question that they ask. I look forward to seeing how that plays out in Wonder Woman. And finally, at number 1 is Robocop Rogue City. So for me, this isn't really something I was expecting. Robocop is going to be a first-person shooter that takes place in old Detroit. We do not have a lot of information. We have screenshots, we have some very vague trailers, we have a description. This is a game that's coming in 2023, and while the vagueness of this project certainly makes it difficult to know exactly what's coming, it's Robocop, and that is automatically intriguing. Like, who hasn't wanted to play a Robocop game? Like, a good one. There are Robocop games out there. The last attempt was in 2014, a free-to-play shooter. It was on iOS and Android. It was a tie-in to the Robocop remake that really flopped. This is a completely fresh take on Robocop as a game, so I'm looking forward to it. I think that it's going to be interesting. It actually continues the original story set after Robocop 3, and there's a lot of promise. We're going to see it on PC and consoles at, like I said, 2023 at the earliest. I'm going to be keeping track of it, and I'm excited for it. That's all for today, though. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, the subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable all notifications, and as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the Hero, and we'll see you next time right here on Gameranx.